Jim Rohn Motivation. Success starts with discipline. Everything worthwhile in life is built on one simple principle. Not talent, not luck, not even intelligence, but discipline. Discipline is the starting point of all success, the foundation that determines whether your dreams stay on paper or become reality. Discipline is the foundation of success, not talent or luck. Discipline is the foundation of success, not talent or luck. Many people wait for the right opportunity, hoping for a break or a moment of fortune that will change everything. Others rely on talent, believing their natural abilities will carry them to the top. But history has shown us over and over again that talent without discipline is wasted potential, and luck without discipline is a missed opportunity. The truth is simple: discipline is what holds everything together. It is the quiet force behind every great achievement. Talent can give you a head start, but without discipline it fizzles out. We've all seen people who were gifted, intelligent, or naturally skilled, yet failed to achieve anything meaningful because they lacked the ability to focus and stay consistent. On the other hand, those who may not have started with exceptional gifts but committed themselves to discipline often surpass even the most talented. Discipline turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results because it creates structure, consistency, and growth over time. Luck may open a door, but only discipline will keep it open. Opportunities come and go. You may be at the right place at the right time once, but what happens after that is entirely up to you. Without the discipline to prepare, to work, and to grow, luck becomes nothing more than a fleeting moment. Discipline ensures that when chance comes, you are ready to seize it, and when it goes, you are still moving forward with momentum. Discipline is not about punishment or restriction. It is about freedom. Freedom to live life on your own terms, freedom to enjoy the rewards of your effort. Freedom to know that you can rely on yourself. When you practice discipline, you no longer depend on moods, feelings, or motivation. You act out of commitment. You do what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. That is the difference between those who achieve their goals and those who merely talk about them. Every day, discipline shows up in small decisions. It's in choosing to wake up a little earlier to work on your goals. It's in saying no to distractions when you know you should be focused. It's in finishing what you started, even when the excitement has worn off. These little choices may not seem significant in the moment, but they accumulate. They stack up day after day, creating a foundation so strong that nothing can shake it. Success is not built in a single moment. It is built in the consistency of disciplined effort. Discipline is also the key to building character. When you discipline yourself to stay true to your word, to finish tasks, to uphold standards, you develop integrity. You become someone who can be trusted not only by others, but by yourself. That trust creates confidence, and confidence fuels even greater action. It becomes a cycle that feeds success. Without discipline, that cycle breaks and confidence turns into doubt, which leads to hesitation and regret. The beauty of discipline is that it does not require brilliance. It does not ask for perfection. It only asks for consistency. Start small, stay steady, and grow over time. Read a few pages every day and you'll finish books that once seemed impossible. Save a little money each week and you'll build wealth. Practice a skill regularly and mastery will come. It is the small, disciplined actions that transform into massive results. When you look at anyone who has achieved greatness, you will find discipline at the core of their journey. Athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, artists, they all rely on discipline. Their talent may have given them a spark, but it was discipline that kept the fire burning through the challenges, setbacks, and doubts. Success is not reserved for the lucky or the talented. It belongs to the disciplined. If you want to change your life, don't wait for fortune to smile on you or for talent to suddenly appear. Start building discipline today. Start with one action, one habit, one choice. Then repeat it tomorrow and the day after until discipline becomes your nature. In the end, discipline is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. Dreams are free, but success has a price, and discipline is the currency you must pay. Those who embrace it create a future of freedom, strength, and fulfillment. Those who resist it remain at the mercy of chance and wasted potential. Discipline is the foundation, the builder, and the protector of all success. Small daily habits, consistently practiced, create massive long-term results. Small daily habits, consistently practiced, create massive long-term results. At first, they may seem insignificant, almost too small to matter. Reading a few pages of a book, saving a few dollars, doing a short workout, writing a single paragraph. None of these things feel like life-changing actions in the moment. But when repeated day after day, they carry a force that compounds far beyond imagination. The results do not come overnight, but they are inevitable, because consistency transforms small efforts into monumental achievements. Think about the way water shapes stone. A single drop of water is powerless, yet when it falls repeatedly over time, it carves valleys, smooths rough edges, and reshapes landscapes. The same principle applies to human effort. One act of discipline may not seem powerful, but when practiced consistently, it reshapes your character, your habits, and your destiny. Success is not about doing something great once, it is about doing the right things over and over until greatness becomes a natural outcome. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a short period and underestimate what they can achieve in the long run with steady habits. They want big results quickly, so they chase shortcuts or give up when progress feels slow. But the truth is, massive success is rarely the result of one breakthrough moment. It is the accumulation of small, consistent steps taken with purpose. The person who saves a little money each week will one day find themselves financially secure. The person who commits to daily learning will, over the years, carry knowledge that sets them apart. The person who exercises regularly, even for short periods, will build a strong and healthy body over time. The key is consistency. Consistency takes something ordinary and turns it into something extraordinary. Anyone can practice a habit once or twice, but it is the ability to stick with it day after day, even when it feels boring or insignificant, that creates transformation. Success does not belong to those who do something big once. It belongs to those who are faithful in the small actions repeated endlessly. Habits also work in the opposite direction. Small negative choices, repeated daily, create massive long-term consequences as well. Skipping workouts, overspending, wasting time, neglecting growth, each decision seems harmless in isolation, but over years they accumulate into regret. Just as positive habits compound into success, negative habits compound into failure. Life is a reflection of the choices we repeat most often. Small daily habits also shape identity. Every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. When you show up to exercise even briefly, you reinforce the identity of someone who values health. When you write a few sentences each day, you reinforce the identity of a writer. When you practice discipline in saving money, you reinforce the identity of someone who is financially responsible. Over time, these small votes build confidence and belief in yourself, and belief fuels even greater action. Patience is essential because results from small habits are not immediate. This is where most people quit. They plant seeds but don't wait long enough to see the harvest. Habits are like planting trees. The growth is invisible at first, but with care and time, roots take hold and the tree becomes unshakable. Years later, what once looked like a small seed becomes something towering and powerful. The real beauty of small daily habits is that anyone can begin them. You don't need extraordinary resources and you don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You can start today, right where you are, with what you have. Read one page, take one step, save one coin, write one line. Do it again tomorrow. In a year, you'll look back and realize that what felt small at the time was actually the beginning of something remarkable. Massive long-term results are not the product of luck, sudden breakthroughs, or dramatic changes. They are the quiet reward for steady, disciplined effort. The question is never whether small habits work. The question is whether you will commit to them long enough to see their power unfold. Those who stay the course will always look back in amazement at how something so small created something so great. Discipline is choosing long-term reward over short-term comfort. Discipline is choosing long-term reward over short-term comfort. Every day we are faced with choices that pull us in two directions. One path offers immediate pleasure, quick relief, and the illusion of ease. The other path requires effort, patience, and sacrifice, but it leads to lasting fulfillment and achievement. The difference between those who reach their goals and those who remain stuck lies in their ability to choose the second path, the path of discipline. Short-term comfort is tempting because it feels good in the moment. It is easier to hit snooze than to wake up early and exercise. It is easier to spend money now than to save for the future. It is easier to watch television than to study, to relax rather than to work on a dream, to avoid discomfort rather than embrace growth. The comfort of the moment is powerful because it satisfies immediately, but it always comes at a cost, and that cost is often hidden until it's too late. Long-term reward, on the other hand, rarely comes instantly. It demands patience and persistence. It asks for sacrifice. Waking up early to exercise may not feel rewarding today, but in the long run, it builds strength and health. Saving money may not bring joy now, but it creates security and freedom later. Working on your goals each day may seem slow, but it eventually produces progress, achievement, and pride. The long-term reward is always greater than the short-term comfort, but only discipline can help you bridge the gap between the two. Discipline is the ability to delay gratification. It is saying, I am willing to give up what feels good now for what will feel extraordinary later. This mindset separates achievers from dreamers. Dreamers indulge in what's easy today and hope tomorrow somehow works itself out. Achievers resist what's easy today and build a tomorrow that is stronger, richer, and more fulfilling. The danger of choosing short-term comfort is that it compounds into long-term regret. Skipping one workout does not ruin your health, but skipping 100 slowly destroys it. Overspending once does not lead to financial hardship, but overspending for years leads to debt and stress. Procrastinating once may not matter, but avoiding work day after day builds failure. Small moments of comfort chosen repeatedly create a life filled with frustration and wasted potential. In contrast, the power of discipline is that it also compounds. Every act of discipline builds strength. Every time you resist the easy road and choose the right one, you train yourself to grow stronger. Over time, the disciplined path becomes easier, while the undisciplined path becomes more painful. The small sacrifices you make today, when multiplied over weeks, months, and years, create extraordinary rewards that short-term comfort could never provide. Discipline is not about denying yourself happiness. It is about choosing a deeper kind of happiness, one that lasts. The happiness of health instead of sickness. The happiness of financial freedom instead of debt. The happiness of confidence and self-respect instead of regret. True happiness is not found in momentary pleasure, but in the peace that comes from knowing you've lived with purpose and responsibility. To choose long-term reward over short-term comfort, you must train your mind to see beyond the moment. Ask yourself, if I make this choice today, where will it take me tomorrow? That simple question can shift your focus from temporary relief to lasting benefit. The more often you ask it, the more you learn to value the future over the present. It's important to remember that discipline is not about perfection. Everyone is tempted by comfort and everyone slips at times. But the goal is not to never give in. The goal is to win more often than you lose. Each time you choose discipline, you build momentum, and momentum makes the next choice easier. Over time, discipline becomes a habit, and habit becomes character. Life will always present you with two roads. One is smooth and easy at the start, but it ends in regret. The other is rough and demanding in the beginning, but it ends in fulfillment and freedom. Discipline is the decision to take the second road again and again until it becomes the only road you're willing to walk. The truth is simple. Comfort will give you a moment, but discipline will give you a lifetime. Comfort may satisfy today, but discipline creates tomorrow. Every choice you make shapes your destiny, and the greatest lives are built not by what is easy, but by what is right. Discipline is the bridge between desire and achievement, between short-term comfort and long-term reward. In the moment you choose it, you step into the future you were meant to create. It provides freedom. The freedom to live without regret and enjoy earned success. It provides freedom, the freedom to live without regret and enjoy earned success. At first, the word discipline might not sound like freedom at all. It sounds like rules, structure, restriction, sacrifice. But in reality, discipline is the very thing that unlocks the life most people dream about. It is the key that turns potential into power and choices into results. Without discipline, life becomes chaotic, reactive, and filled with missed opportunity. With discipline, life becomes purposeful, steady, and rewarding. Freedom is often misunderstood. Many think freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want, with no restrictions. But that kind of freedom usually leads to bondage, the bondage of poor health, the bondage of financial struggle, the bondage of wasted time and regret. The person who eats without discipline becomes a prisoner of illness. The person who spends without discipline becomes a prisoner of debt. The person who lives without self-control becomes a prisoner of wasted potential. What looks like freedom in the short term often leads to chains in the long term. Discipline flips this around. It asks for sacrifice now, but it gives you real freedom later. The person who eats with discipline enjoys the freedom of good health. The person who saves and invests with discipline enjoys the freedom of financial security. The person who works with discipline enjoys the freedom of opportunity and success. Discipline may feel like it costs you comfort in the moment, but what it really gives you is a life without the heavy burden of regret. Regret is one of the greatest thieves of joy. It comes from knowing you could have done better but chose not to. It grows when you realize opportunities passed you by because you weren't prepared or willing to do the work. Discipline protects you from this pain. When you live with discipline, you can look back and know you gave your best. Even if results take time, even if setbacks come, you carry no regret because you know your effort was consistent. Your choices were intentional, and your habits were aligned with your goals. There is a special kind of peace that comes from earned success. Not success that was handed to you, not success that happened by chance, but success that was built brick by brick through disciplined effort. When you achieve something through discipline, it belongs to you in a deeper way. You value it more because you know the price you paid. That sense of ownership and pride is a kind of freedom that no one can take away from you. Discipline also gives freedom in the present, not just the future. When you are disciplined, you live with clarity and focus. You are not constantly stressed by unfinished tasks, broken promises to yourself, or the weight of procrastination. You know what matters and you take action on it. This creates mental freedom, the ability to live in the moment without the constant nagging of guilt or worry. The disciplined person rests easier at night, not because life is perfect, but because they know they have lived with responsibility and intention. It is important to understand that discipline is not about denying joy. It is about creating space for greater joy. It's not about removing pleasure from life, but about ensuring that pleasure is meaningful and guilt-free. The person who eats with discipline can fully enjoy a treat without shame. The person who manages money with discipline can fully enjoy spending when the time is right. The person who works with discipline can fully enjoy rest, knowing it is earned. Discipline makes joy richer because it is free of regret. True freedom is not the absence of rules, but the ability to live without being controlled by impulses, circumstances, or regrets. Discipline is what allows you to take charge of your own destiny instead of being at the mercy of chance. It transforms potential into reality, desires into achievements, and dreams into daily life. Without discipline, freedom is an illusion. With discipline, freedom becomes your reality. So while discipline may look like a burden, it is in fact the path to the lightest, freest life imaginable. It gives you the freedom to choose your future, the freedom to enjoy your success, the freedom to live without regret, and the freedom to experience life with purpose. And in the end, that kind of freedom is far greater than any comfort you could ever trade it for in the moment. Start small. Consistent growth builds a future of greatness. Start small. Consistent growth builds a future of greatness. Too often, people look at the achievements of others and see only the final result. They see the successful career, the financial wealth, the strong physique, or the life of freedom, and they imagine it must have come from one big breakthrough, a stroke of luck, or extraordinary talent. What they fail to see are the years of small, consistent steps that built that success from the ground up. Greatness is never the product of one giant leap. It is the outcome of many small beginnings, nurtured with discipline and persistence over time. Starting small may feel insignificant. Reading just a few pages a day doesn't make you an expert. Saving a few dollars doesn't make you wealthy. Writing a single paragraph doesn't make you an author. Practicing for a short time doesn't make you a master. But these small actions, repeated consistently, compound into extraordinary results. What seems ordinary today becomes extraordinary tomorrow, because growth multiplies itself. The effort you put in today lays the foundation for greater effort tomorrow. The power of starting small is that it removes the weight of overwhelm. Many people never begin because the goal feels too big. They want to transform their health, but the thought of hours at the gym every day feels impossible. They want financial freedom, but the idea of saving large sums feels out of reach. They want success in business, but the journey looks too long. By starting small, the mountain becomes climbable. Small steps build momentum, and momentum makes the journey easier as you go. Consistent growth is what separates dreamers from achievers. Anyone can dream of greatness, but only those who commit to steady progress get there. The secret is not intensity, but consistency. It is better to grow slowly and steadily than to push hard for a short time and quit. The gym enthusiast who trains moderately but consistently for years will achieve far more than the person who trains intensely for a month and then gives up. The saver who puts away a small amount regularly will build more wealth than the one who tries to save big once and stops. Success is built not on bursts of effort, but on rhythms of discipline. The beauty of consistent growth is that it builds character along the way. When you start small and grow steadily, you not only build results, you build resilience, patience, and belief in yourself. Every small win reinforces the idea that progress is possible. Every step forward makes the next one easier. Over time, these small victories stack up, shaping not just what you do, but who you become. You begin to see yourself as someone capable of change, someone capable of discipline, someone capable of greatness. Greatness itself is not an event. It is the culmination of thousands of small choices. Think of a tree that grows tall and strong. It did not begin that way. It started as a seed, fragile and easily overlooked. With consistent care, with the right environment, it grew roots deep into the ground and branches wide into the sky. The same is true for your goals. You start small, you nurture growth, and over time you create something enduring and powerful. The temptation is always to look for shortcuts, to try to leap to the top without building the foundation. But shortcuts rarely last. The person who skips the process may enjoy temporary success, but without the strength built through consistent growth, it crumbles. The slow, steady builder, however, enjoys lasting success because the roots run deep. Start where you are. Do what you can with what you have. If it feels small, that's not a weakness. That's the beginning of strength. Keep going. Each day, add a little more. Read a little more, save a little more, work a little harder. Over time, these small increases compound into something extraordinary. A year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you'll look back and realize that what seemed small in the beginning was actually the start of greatness. Consistent growth builds confidence, stability, and mastery. It creates habits that sustain success and protect it when challenges arise. Greatness is not built overnight. It is built over many nights, through countless small actions, each one a brick in the foundation of a powerful future. The key is simply to begin, to start small and to never stop moving forward. Start small. Consistent growth builds a future of greatness. That is not just advice, it is a law of life. The ones who honor it will rise, and the ones who ignore it will remain stuck. Greatness is waiting, not in a single leap, but in the daily steps you choose to take. Discipline is the thread that weaves everything together. It is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be, the choice to value tomorrow more than the comfort of today. It starts small, it feels ordinary, and it often goes unnoticed. But over time, it shapes your character, builds your confidence, and creates a life of freedom and fulfillment. Discipline is not about punishment. It is about power. It is the quiet strength that protects you from regret, gives you control over your future, and transforms your dreams into reality. Every moment you choose discipline, you choose growth. Every time you put aside short-term comfort, you invest in long-term reward. Every small action you repeat with consistency builds into greatness. And when you look back, you will see not a life of restriction, but a life of freedom. The freedom to live without regret. The freedom to enjoy earned success. And the freedom to know you became everything you were meant to be. Greatness does not come from chance. It comes from choice. And the greatest choice you can make is to live with discipline,